It was the deadliest bet I had ever taken. My hands wouldn't stop shaking as we stood before Willowbrook's rusted gates. The October wind carried the scent of decaying leaves and something else, something metallic that made the hair on my neck stand up. "Come on, Sarah," Emily teased, adjusting her GoPro. "Don't tell me the queen of haunted TikTok is scared now." Her laugh sounded too loud in the heavy silence. I forced a grin. Just saving my screams for when we actually see something. The lie tasted bitter. Because the truth was, I'd been dreading this moment since we first planned it. Willowbrook wasn't like the other abandoned places we'd explored. Everyone in town knew the stories, the unexplained deaths, the rumors of unethical experiments, the way stray animals would never go near the property. The front doors groaned like living things as we pushed them open. Our flashlights revealed a nightmare frozen in time. Wheelchairs tipped on their sides, medical charts scattered across the floor, and a dark stain that spread across the linoleum like a Rorschach test. "Check this out," Emily whispered, panning her camera toward a wall covered in children's handprints, fresh ones. My breath hitched. Those weren't here last week. We'd seen the photos from urban explorers who came before us. That wall had been bare. A sudden crash from upstairs made us both jump. Emily's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's our money shot right there!" I grabbed her arm. "Em, we didn't bring any equipment upstairs." The color drained from her face. That's when we heard it, the soft, rhythmic creaking of rocking chairs from the pediatric ward, back and forth. The camera footage would later show what we couldn't see at that moment, small, shadowy figures peering at us from the second-floor windows as we approached the staircase. Emily's voice on the recording sounds nothing like her. "Sarah, why is there a heartbeat on the EKG monitor?" The machine in the corner was indeed active, its green line spiking erratically. But when I touched it, the plastic was ice cold, dead for decades. We ran then, not when we found the nursery with its tiny cribs still made up of moldy sheets. Not when we heard the nursery rhyme being hummed from an empty operating room. But when we reached the exit and found our car keys missing, replaced on the ground by a small pile of teeth. It's been 6 months since that night, and our lives changed forever. The video got 12 million views. We're an internet sensation now, interviewed by BuzzFeed and featured on paranormal podcasts. Everyone wants to know if we're going back. They don't see what I see. They don't notice how Emily's reflection sometimes blinks a second too slowly. How she now hums that same nursery rhyme in her sleep. How in every new video we post, if you turn the brightness all the way up, there's always one extra shadow standing just behind us. Last night I woke to Emily standing over my bed, her face lit by the glow of her phone. "They're offering us a TV special," she whispered, her smile stretching just a little too wide. "All we have to do is spend one night inside Willowbrook." The notification on her screen wasn't from any network I recognized. The message read, "We've been waiting for you to come home." And the sender ID, room 237, the pediatric ward, the room with all the tiny, empty cribs, so they know what we did last winter. Darkness is the most scary thing in a hospital. Trust me, you'll get to believe this when you listen to my nerve-wracking experience. I'm an idiot for being here. St. Augustine's Hospital squats on Denver's forgotten fringe in Aurora, its ragged windows leering like a skull's empty sockets. I swore I was done with my friends' stupid dares, their urban adventure obsession, but Mia's text, "Bet you can't last an hour in St. Aug's alone. Midnight, prove it," sank its claws into my pride. So here I am, Ethan, 23, heart pounding as I scramble through a broken window, glass crunching under my sneakers. The air inside hits like a punch, stale mold mixed with a sharp chemical bite, like the ghost of antiseptic. My flashlight beam slices through the dark, catching a lobby frozen in decay, a receptionist's desk buried under scattered papers, a rotary phone dangling like it's given up. My phone says 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes to midnight. Mia's rules burn in my head: stay an hour, snap a selfie in the deepest part of the hospital, and post it. Simple, but my gut's screaming to run. I shove my phone into my jacket and head down the main corridor. The silence is a living thing, pressing against my eardrums, broken only by distant water drips. Every creak, every faint shuffle in the shadows makes my skin crawl. Just old building noises, I tell myself, but my pulse is a drumbeat saying otherwise. I pass doorways, radiology, pediatrics, morgue, and my flashlight wobbles like it's scared too. I avoid those rooms, my breath hitching as something cold brushes the back of my neck. The corridor splits, stairs up, or down to the basement. Basement, deepest part. That's where Mia's damn selfie has to happen. My mouth's dry as ash, but I force myself down the steps. The air turns cold, heavy with a rotting stench that clings to my throat. My flashlight flickers. Shit. I smack it against my palm, heart lurching until the beam steadies. At the bottom, a rusted sign looms. Ward B3, psychiatric. The basement is a nightmare maze, narrow halls, doors dangling off hinges, walls scrawled with graffiti that looks like it was clawed in. My footsteps echo like gunshots. I pass a room with a single chair bolted to the floor, its leather straps swinging slightly like they're waiting for me. My stomach twists, but I push deeper, sweat beading despite the cold. I reach a dead end, a heavy steel door half opened, labelled observation room. This is it. All the ghost stories kept coming into my mind. My hands shake as I push it open, the hinges screaming like a warning. The room's a coffin, windowless with a cracked mirror on one wall, a metal table in the center, and a dead bulb dangling above. My flashlight carves harsh shadows as I raise my phone, catching my pale, wide-eyed face in the mirror. I snap the selfie, my breath loud in the stillness. Done, I can get the hell out. Then the door slams shut. I spin, my heart slamming against my ribs. Who's there? My voice cracks, swallowed by the walls. I grab the handle, pulling hard. Locked. Panic claws up my throat. I pound the door, shouting, but the sound dies like the room's eating it. My flashlight flickers and then dies completely. Darkness crashes in, thick, suffocating. I fumble for my phone. Its glow is my only anchor. No signal. I stare at the selfie and my blood freezes. Behind my shoulder there's a shape, tall, thin, head tilted at a sickening angle. I didn't see it in the mirror when I took the shot. I turn, phone trembling in my grip, its light sweeping the room. Nothing. Just the table, the mirror, the walls. But the air's heavier now, pressing my chest like a fist. A low hum starts, not from the room but inside my skull, a vibration that makes my teeth ache. The mirror flickers and I catch a glimpse, something moving, stepping out of sight. Stop it, I whisper to myself or whatever's here. I don't believe in ghosts, but Mia's stories flood back. Patients abandoned, twisted experiments in the 70s, orderlies hearing screams years after the place shut down. I laughed then. I'm not laughing now. Life is far better in fairy tales. The hum sharpens into a voice, low and deep, not words, but a chant, pulsing in my head. Stay. I yank the door again. Nothing. The mirror flashes again, and this time I see it. A figure in a tattered hospital gown, its face blurred, like someone smudged it out. It's right behind me. I spin, swinging my phone's light. Empty. But the air's alive now, crawling with whispers, cold fingers brushing my arm. I stumble back, my scream caught in my throat. My phone dies. No flicker, just black. The darkness is absolute, a void that pulses with the chant, "Stay, stay, stay." The voice is deafening, drilling into my brain. Images stab through my mind, faces I don't know, eyes wide with terror, hands clawing at padded walls. I see myself, strapped to that table, the blurred figure leaning over me, its face inches away, featureless but smiling. Then, silence. The air lightens like a storm passing. I scramble up, groping for the door. It opens this time, swinging wide with a groan that echoes in my bones. I don't look back. I run, feet pounding through the maze, up the stairs, through the corridors, until I'm diving through that broken window into Denver's freezing night. I won't stop until I'm in my car, hands shaking so badly I can barely get the key in. I drive, St. Augustine shrinking in my rear view, swallowed by the dark. At home, I plug in my phone, dreading what I'll see. It powers on, and the selfie is still there. But now the figure's clear. A man in a gown, head tilted, eyes like black voids, staring right at me. I delete it, my hands shaking so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I never tell Mia, never go back. But at night, when the world's quiet, I hear it. A low hum, a single word. Stay. If this nightmare continues, I will end up in a hospital again. The good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease. That's why I never believed in diseases like ghosts. I believed in anatomy, pathology, and trauma protocols, not cold spots and whispers. But the night I returned to Mercy Cross, I learned something that medicine never taught me. The dead remember. It started with an email. The city planned to renovate Mercy Cross into a public clinic. They needed a medical professional to walk through and assess the bones of the place. I volunteered. It used to be my battleground, where I did my trauma residency, where I became a surgeon, where I lost something. I arrived just before sunset. The hospital stood like a corpse on a hill, ivy clawing up broken windows. I parked beside a rusted ambulance, grabbed my flashlight, and stepped inside. The air was thick with mold, copper, and the sharp sting of something chemical. My boots echoed across the warped linoleum. The overhead fluorescence, long dead, left everything bathed in shadow. I moved slowly through pediatrics, past the half-faded murals of animals with cartoon bandages. I was halfway down the ER wing when I heard the ding of the elevator. I froze. No power. I turned, surely I imagined it, but the doors at the end of the hall stood open, humming softly with light. That's when my flashlight sputtered. I tapped it, once, twice. Darkness swallowed the corridor. Something moved, a wet shuffle, just ahead. Every hair on my body stood on end. I spun and sprinted, my breath catching in my throat. I yanked open the stairwell door and stepped into an operating room, or three, clean, sterile, bright. Exactly how I remembered it. No, not exactly. There was someone at the far end in full surgical garb, standing perfectly still back to me. I didn't speak. My throat locked. They turned. My blood iced over. It was Dr. Hadley, dead 5 years. "Dr. Navarro," he rasped, his voice damp and cracked. "You left me." I shook my head. "No, you had a heart attack. You died at home." His face twisted, grief and rot tangled together. "I died here, on this table. You watched." It hit me like a punch, the memory. He collapsed mid-surgery. I froze. 17 seconds of paralyzing fear. I counted them later. 17 seconds where I did nothing. When I moved, it was already too late. I tried, I whispered. Too late. The lights overhead flickered and the room changed. Blood streaked the walls. Rust bloomed across the equipment. The air turned sour, like meat left too long in the sun. The body on the table moved. I turned, already knowing it was me, my own face, eyes open, chest split wide, heart exposed, beating, the mouth twitched. "You hesitated!" I screamed. I ran, through doors that opened into impossible places, morgue, neonatal, radiology, rooms folding over each other like a maze. The layout made no sense. Eventually I stumbled into the front lobby. It was clean again, silent. But the front doors were gone. In their place stretched a long hallway lined with empty gurneys, dim lights flickering overhead. A voice crackled from the ceiling speaker. "Code black. Trauma incoming. Dr. Navarro to ER." That code doesn't exist. Not in any hospital I've ever worked. A gurney rolled toward me from the shadows. No one pushed it. The body on it was wrapped in soaked gauze, still, barely breathing. I didn't want to look. I had to look. I peeled back the bandages. It was me. Eyes fluttering, lips moving. My chest was open. Ribs splayed like petals. My heartbeat slow and sickly. "Feel that?" the voice rasped. My own voice. "Still alive, just barely." I stumbled back. No, this isn't real." "You don't leave a place like this," it said. "Not after what you left behind." The gurney wheeled itself away, disappearing into darkness. Then, silence. I blinked. Suddenly the real world returned. The hospital lights were off. Quiet, just a dead building again. The front doors were back, wide open, leading to the fog outside. I didn't look back, not once. I walked to my car, hands shaking, breath shallow. Drove home in silence, locked every door, slept with the lights on. I told myself it was stress, sleep deprivation, old trauma playing tricks, but 2 days later, the city crew entered Mercy Cross to begin renovations. They found my flashlight, lying on the OR table. Next to it, fresh footprints in dried blood. They started at the table and ended in the middle of the room, nowhere else. Sometimes when I walk past hospitals, real, working ones, I still hear it, that ding. And then, faintly over the intercom, "Code black, Dr. Navarro to ER," and I remember, I didn't walk out, I ran. But maybe I never left, as the story remains with me.